they're sixth graders. I'm going to be asking them some questions about their learning experience here at Bluegrass this year. And I'm going to start by having you guys introduce yourselves, and I'll start on the far end. Will you, real loud, tell us your first and last name?
My name is Emilio Rice, and I'm a sixth grader here at Bluegrass Middle School.
My name is Juliana Gregory, preferred to go by Gigi, and I'm a sixth grader here at Bluegrass Middle School.
My name is Mari Jones, and I'm a sixth grader here at Bluegrass Middle School.
My name is Tucker Miller. I'm a sixth grader here at Bluegrass Middle School.
Awesome, love it. And the school spirit there too. Good job, guys. So we're going to start with, and anybody can answer, okay? Or we may like pick on certain people, and then you're allowed to look at each other and be like, hey, you should answer that one because you did blah, blah in class one day or something like that, okay? We want to take turns. So we're at Bluegrass talking about this because your sixth grade teachers have been working with you guys this year and doing projects. So project-based learning, or PBL, is a term that adults know it as. So can one of you all explain to us, like, what does that mean? Like, oh, you're doing project-based learning. Like, what does that mean?
What it means is, like, you're not getting a packet and a pen, and you're not just getting a grade on that. You're getting a grade on your effort and how much you worked with your other classmates to get this goal accomplished.
Okay. So that's different. You mentioned packets. So, like, how is that different from traditional school, or maybe what school was like for you before?
Well, I think it was different from school by the stereotypical school. Like, it's boring, no one wants to go, and it's stupid, like, no one cares about it. But now with project-based learning, it's more engaging, and the people that, like, I know some people that, like, weren't very interested, like, last year, like, they weren't interested in learning, and now they come back this year, and they're really excited, and they're engaged.
So were any of you all those kids who weren't interested in learning before?
Kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Somebody share something with me. Like, you are interested now, and maybe why?
Well, I definitely like collaborating with people more and doing group projects, and I feel like this is a lot more engaging and visual because I'm more of a visual learner. So when I get to see something right in front of my face, it's easier to learn for me.
Yeah, same.
I think that project-based learning has been like really interactive. I got to learn a lot more stuff. Last year we had to do packets for NTI, and I really didn't like it. I wasn't learning anything at all. I get to interact with new people from different schools and lots of other stuff.
So when you're talking about learning, so you said, I'm learning different stuff. What does that mean exactly? Like, are you still doing science and social studies and math? I mean, what does that look like?
So the subjects are still like concentrated, but it's more like applied to real life situations or issues. Like, for example, we had a recycling project, and we had to collect recyclable items or find a way that we can recycle more. So this way, it kind of relates to things for our future or in real life.
And have you picked some of those things, or are your teachers picking them for you?
Oh, no. We pick, like, what we're going over. Like, we pick like, for Mr. Price's fifth period in our class, we picked, like, swabbing different places of schools and putting it in this little Petri dish and seeing who could grow the most bacteria. That was kind of gross, but it was cool. But just stuff like that, it's more engaging.
Yeah, we get to take more control of what we learn in our learning.
Okay. What about grades? You mentioned that you're being graded on things besides what you're used to being graded on. Like, are your grades better? Are they worse? Talk to me a little bit about the grading. Is it just what it used to be, or is it different?
It's different because we didn't get graded on our effort last year. We got graded on what was on our paper. We didn't get to go out and have many projects. We didn't have many at all, projects. So we didn't really do anything big last year.
Yeah, like, I've definitely strived to be a straight A student, but, you know, it's kind of hard, like, when you're just graded on what's correct, and when they allow us to get graded off our effort and when we show our work, it's easier for them to grade it based off of what we learn and what effort we've done.
Yeah, they have, like, a whole big grading system now, and it's way better for people who, like, me who like, I'm not a big study person, I'm not a big note person, but when I'm graded on like effort, because I put some effort and stuff, and a lot, and some others. But yeah, it's just, I like it.
I really think that our grades have been getting a lot better. I'm in beta club. Last year, I was really struggling. I was getting lower grades on stuff. And like what everyone else said, I actually tried putting a lot of effort into what I was doing. And now this year, I'm actually being graded on what I'm doing.
So in addition to like, sounds to me like you're doing different stuff, do you also find yourself like thinking differently because of the projects and how you're learning now? Like, and I know that's hard, but so you take a beat. But like think about your thinking, like are you thinking different? Has it changed you in that way or challenged you?
It's definitely challenged me. Like, since we're doing stuff that relates to real life situations, you know, you have to kind of be creative and come up with different solutions in the projects we do. And yeah, it's definitely made me think more creatively.
It also teaches me to think ahead of time, like what we're gonna be doing. Like if I'm at home and I know I'm gonna have to do some chores while I'm like watching TV, I'm gonna already go up and do them, or even with homework or something. I just do that. Changes the way you think.
It makes me think a lot deeper into what I'm doing. I get to be more creative. Like I get to solve stuff on my own before I just go to the teacher and ask for help.
Oh, just to add something, it makes you less think of what you're doing, makes you think of why you're doing it with things.
All right, so Emilio, you very briefly, you said homework. Somebody, he can answer this or somebody else. So do you still have homework? That's a question people always want to know.
It depends on, I guess, what teacher.
And it also depends on what you complete in class. So if you put a lot of effort in the stuff you do in class, you should have a lot less homework to do at home on your own time because they're giving you time to complete that work in class.
What difference? You all have talked about a lot of positive things, right? Like you're more engaged, you talked about you like that you're graded for your effort. So you just brought up a lot of really positive things, but nothing's perfect. So
Yeah.
tell us, are there some things that have been a struggle or challenging or things that you dislike about this kind of learning?
Well, I guess it's been a struggle adapting to it because I've been doing this strict answers right thing for 6 years. So it's hard to adapt to like projects and like the grind and stuff.
Yeah, and it's definitely a lot more work, but I kind of like having control of my work and what I do. So some people may see it as a handful to them with all these projects from different classes, but I enjoy it a lot more.
I would say it's a bit harder. It like depends on the people you're working with. For me, like some people would argue a lot more, and then some people don't want to do the work. And I mean, I'm fine working independently, but we still have to interact with others.
It's better when you're interacting. You like your teachers may grade you on what you did. They may grade you on what your whole entire group did. It's good both ways because if somebody doesn't want to work, they could get a bad grade and you get everything. So
You both mentioned groups and group work there. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm an adult. And still there are times when I'm in a group where I'm like, oh, you know, and it's hard, okay? So what are some of the good and the bad things about the group work? Like you mentioned, like sometimes people don't want to work. So what do you do?
So I would say when there's some people who don't want to work, I would try to work it out with them, like giving them some small steps to start off with. And then give them like bigger projects to do to help the team.
Or when we start projects, in the very beginning of the projects, we have this little group list thing, and like the teacher's prepared for this, and they'll have like rules you want to make up for the group, like don't talk over each other or don't do all the work, just something like that. Give people a chance.
Yeah, a group contract. It's like we create it at the beginning of each project, just kind of like rules to set so that nobody feels left out or like they're overdoing some work. And also it's good to assign each person what they're going to do or give them a rule what to do so that the teacher knows what everyone's doing and each person knows what they're responsible for doing, so it's really organized that way. So.
Yeah.
So Gigi, Emilio, you guys mentioned like rules and contracts. I thought it was interesting, Amari, that you said something like talking about giving somebody like small steps and little pieces to work with. So are those things you've learned this year? Like, have you learned ways to help your group mates, or you just amazing and figured that out? Did your teacher tell you? Like, how did you kind of know to start there?
So I definitely did not know how to do it at first. Like the first project I've ever done this year, I was really struggling, and it was hard for me because most of the people in my group, they did not want to do anything. So I went to the teacher to ask for help, and they said that like give them smaller steps to work with, try to work with them a bit more. And I started like giving them like, for example, we had the civilization project where we had to do the civilization. There were some people who didn't want to work on it. I gave them smaller steps to like try building it, since it was a bit more fun, try building the civilization and like make up rules.
Yeah, it's definitely more of an adaptation. Like you have to learn how to collaborate with other people, even if it's more of a struggle with certain people. You know, you definitely just don't have, you have to try not to give up on them and keep trying with them until they get their work done.
Because they're going to be interested in it. Everyone's going to be interested in something about the project. You just have to find the right thing for them.
I don't even know what to say, Emilio. I mean, I'm an adult. It took me a while to figure that out. And just the fact that you guys are using the word collaboration and have developed these strategies, like to help and you're like, oh, we're going to get there. They're going to finally like something. It's genius, man. Very, very much so. So along those lines, I've made 2 references now to like, I'm kind of jealous you guys are having this experience, right? Because as an adult, I had to learn these things. So do you see anything that you've learned this year as something that is going to help you in your future? I know it's hard to think to that.
It definitely is going to help us in my future because everybody has to work with a group at some point in their lives. So you always have to take tiny steps when you're younger, then you already know it, so you're able to build on to what you already know.
Yeah, it's definitely taught me some inside or internal skills, like how to collaborate with certain people or learn to take responsibility for what I do and my work and control of what I do, because that's definitely going to help me later on in life.
And it's not just the teacher telling you what to do. And I'm a kid that wants to know why. Like, why do we have to do this? Why am I in trouble for this? Why did I do this? So I go on, and without project-based learning, and I don't know why, and then I'm out into the real world still getting in trouble in a worse way.
Yeah. Very, very astute. Anybody in the room have one? I'm like monopolizing this. We do have a few guests. Does anybody?
Brandy, I had a question,
Yes.
and they may have answered this and I missed it. They were talking about different roles, I think, the way that your groups are set up. So I know that, like, a while ago you was talking about with the projects, you kind of get a choice of your project. So your roles, does your teacher always assign which role you have? How does that work?
So on our group contracts, we kind of discuss as a group who we think would be most fitting, at least in my classes. Like there was a producer at one project, and we had to decide who we thought was the best fit, and we kind of talked it out because it's everyone's grades, so we kind of want what's best for our group. So we just chose who we thought would be the best fit for those roles.
Like you have some people who like I said, they don't want to work, and you assign them a role that, like maybe they're good at drawing, and you have to draw a picture, and no one else is good at the group at drawing. You could give that person something to draw, and it's like really cool for them, and it also benefits you because you get the grade that you want, and everyone's working on something that they want to do, and it's great, and you get a good grade.
So all of you guys seem pretty comfortable in like talking aloud, and obviously you wouldn't be sitting here otherwise. Maybe you're not, but can you talk about like you shy, or do you have maybe friends or no classmates who are shy? Like, how's the group work thing for them? If somebody's like, I don't really like talking to other people.
Okay, so I've actually had experiences where some people are like really shy, they didn't want to present, and I tried to help them out, giving them like a smaller part to present. If they were like had stage fright or anything, I would do like more slides than them. I would help them out and try to at least give them the part so they can get a good grade.
Yeah, even then, like, you still want them to take small steps, but you don't want to push them so far that they don't know, like, what to do and they're kind of, like, pressured. So they definitely get to learn, though, more because, I mean, they're going to have to present at some point. But giving them smaller steps or smaller things to do, they'll kind of get used to it and comfortable with the idea of talking in front of people. But I definitely know some people that have stage fright or have trouble speaking in front of people, and that's okay.
I have a question, Brandon. You all have talked about some of the projects that you've done, like your civilizations project, the project in science, but what does this look like in your math class?
It's called problem-based learning in math class. So, for example, we did the chocolate milk thing. It kind of showed ratios. We had to decide, what ratio from chocolate syrup to milk would be best fitting if we wanted the best tasting outcome. So we call it problem-based learning in math.
Yeah. It was really cool because like it's hard to do projects with other stuff. Then you come to math and it's like projects. You can't really do those, but it's like a project because you have a central problem and you have to fix it, and it has to be fun while you're doing it, and I like it.
Surely you're going to follow up with what's the best ratio.
We decided actually, so we had like 8 was our max. So after trying everything, we realized that we definitely want more milk than chocolate syrup. So I'm pretty sure we decided that the best one would be 6-2. 6 being the milk and 2 being the syrup, because I did 5-3, and even then that was just too much syrup.
That messed up my mouth.
Like it'll mess up your stomach, and it's all kind of too much. Because I know some people that they either absolutely can't drink milk or they absolutely hate syrup. So they got 7-1 syrup or 7-1 milk because they didn't want that much.
Bro, it tasted like dirt.
There were some people who put like 1 to 7 and 1 being the milk, and I was like, what are you doing?
Bro, they were drinking the chocolate syrup.
Then some of them drank it.
So I'm glad you all talked about the chocolate milk one. Has that been your favorite, or do you have another favorite project that you've done, and why?
Well, the chocolate milk's definitely my favorite.
So do you mean just projects in general, like in any other subject?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like the one in science when we did the roller coaster projects. We got to build roller coasters and come up with our own design and everything. And it was a longer project, but I like that one.
I would say my favorite was the civilization. I like to talk about it a lot. We got to paint, which I really like doing. And we got to make our own rules to it, how much farmland we got to have. And I thought it was really fun.
To add on to the roller coaster, at the end of the project, we actually got to write a letter to a theme park so that we can like kind of educate them on what they should do more of.
Yeah, like kind of persuade them why they should choose our roller coaster. And I kind of like that because it makes me feel like, I actually get to send out letters to real life people and like things out there outside of school.
Like one time when Mr. Price is like, we're gonna write a letter to Andy Bashir. And I was like, why? That's not necessary, but we did. I mean, he didn't respond back, but it was really cool that I was talking to a state celebrity at least.
I heard he's really busy. Maybe that's why he didn't
Yeah.
respond.
I mean, the more busier they get, the less they'll answer your emails.
He might. You never know. I know.
Yeah,
One day.
it was like,
One day it might happen. I know I have
Can you
one.
go through real quick, Brandy, what questions you've already asked?
Yeah, so we talked about just the general meaning of PBL, compared it to their previous school experiences. We talked about their grades and any differences there. Did we address, no, we didn't, did we talk about this one yet? No, we didn't.
Yes.
We'll hit that one.
Yeah.
Did we? We did. Talked about how it's not all sunshine and roses, so we're the negative sides. Struggles in group work. How to apply to their future, homework.
So my question is do you have an opportunity to be by yourself? So let's say in the future, you want to be in your basement and you just want to write code for a computer game or something like that. Is there ever an opportunity that you just decide you're going to do your own civilization, you're going to do your own chocolate milk, you're going to do your own letter to Andy Bashir, or is every project a group project and you have to do it that way with other people? Or do you get a choice occasionally to where you can do your own thing and be your own self and only responsible for you?
We do get that opportunity. We're actually working on a project right now. We are working on our brochure. We just got done with the book Hatchet. So we're going to write a survival guide and how we get to pick our topic, and then we get to pick these small topics to talk about in our brochure.
And did you have a choice? Of
Yes,
doing that?
we got to choose our groups, and I know I wanted to be alone in that group just because I got my own thinking process of how to do it, and I really enjoyed my brochure.
Yeah, our teachers, like, it depends on the teacher, but they give us the option to, like, back out, but you might be missing out if, like, it might be a lot of work to handle, but I definitely encourage doing the group over than just staying by yourself.
Yeah,
just
definitely
me.
not every project is a group project, but like the chocolate milk one, that was actually our own. Like we had to think about, which one would be the best tasting ratio. So yeah, that one we did on our own. And yeah, I wouldn't say every project is all group projects. But I do prefer a group project.
So is there a time, when do you get assessed on, so if you're doing these group projects, when does it come to this is your grade because you earned it? And to make sure every student learned what the teacher wanted them to learn, instead of just maybe only one student in the group learned the activity and everybody else just sort of hung on.
Yeah.
So I would say through some projects that we have done, we do get like forms that we get to fill out and like grade on how everybody else did, and like talk about why we chose that grade and like how much they did, and if they were even good at what they did, and they did what they were supposed to.
Yeah, like in some classes we get our own group rubrics, so each member of the group would vote how they think each member did on their projects. And that's why we also do the group contracts at the beginning, so that we have each person assigned to a role, and the teacher will know which role everyone's doing, so they can kind of grade based off of that as well.
Do you still have like regular tests?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean-
unfortunately.
You have tests. It's still school. It's not happy-go-lucky playtime. It's still school.
Yeah, I mean, tests are always going to be involved, and honestly, they're just kind of to see like what you've learned so far, and that's okay. I mean, we're expecting tests because that's just part of school. So, like, we have the big test coming up. I don't know if they still call it K-Prep anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It's called something different, I think. But
They like to change the name every year.
yeah, but we do have that coming up, so that's kind of going to show what we've learned this school year too.
It's a huge test.
Love it. So you guys have talked a lot about like what school was, or we did begin about like what traditional school or what school was like before. And I know you all got to meet some fifth graders that are coming here next year from some other schools. So do you have advice for like a fifth grader that's coming here, or maybe a kid that moved in the middle of the year? Like, do you have some advice for them on dealing with this different kind of school?
Yeah, I would say just expect to take control of your work and meet lots of new people from different schools, and you're going to have different class periods with everybody. So you're going to be definitely meeting a lot of new people, working with a lot of new people, and I've definitely got to know a lot more people as a sixth grader and doing project-based learning.
Prepare to have fun. Like, it's really fun. Prepare to learn. prepare to learn instead of it being shoved in your mind and then forgotten in the summer. You're going to remember that and you're going to apply it to your life 50 years later.
I would say,
Back in 50 years, trust me.
I would say that, yeah, prepare to have fun because project-based learning, it's been really good for us. You know, we hated last year. We only had to do packets like for NTI. We barely got to interact with anybody else. And now we get people from different schools and you get to make new friends.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, and expect to be very involved with the school. Like, we've made a new, like, everybody has to be in a club. And I really like that. I'm in student council, and I also meet new people in that club, especially from different grades. There's different grades in that club, well, most clubs. And it's nice to meet new people, and I like being in student council.
Yeah, student council is very fun. I am the secretary in there, and it is nice.
Has it sparked any more questions?
We have a few online. Anybody have questions? What am I forgetting? What's something that gets commonly asked?
If you had to reflect on your own growth this year, from the very beginning to now, what's like one thing that you really grew and developed in from where we started to today?
Personally, for me, I mean, I've definitely had a lot, but I see major confidence growth and being able to speak in front of people, because I've always been like, oh, I want to talk in front of people, but when it actually comes down to it, it's kind of nerve-wracking for everyone. But I've actually sang in front of the whole school, and it's nervous. It makes you nervous, but after you do it, you're like, wow, I just did that, and your confidence kind of grows throughout the year, especially meeting new people.
I've definitely learned to be less impulsive with things. Like my mom always says, like I really don't think before I do anything. I'm quick to say things, and when someone says something today, I'm gonna think about before I say something I'm gonna regret saying later.
I would say I got better at socializing last year, and to the new school year, I didn't really want to talk to anybody. I was really nervous, and I only wanted to talk to the people that I knew from last year. Today, I really want to interact with everybody else and to new people that come.
Tucker, you want to add how have you grown this year?
I've definitely grown in music. I'm in band, and I've just grown in it. I went to not be able to know how to play to basically a 7th grade level.
Anyone? Other burning desires? So I think we have to ask you, were you paid to say these things today?
No.
No.
Honestly, I kind of get excited when I get invited to these things, that it makes me feel like, oh wow, I just got invited to this, and it makes me feel like I'm an official.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like
Certified student.
I feel special.
Can we get them shirts that say certified?
Student.
You know how much I was invited in elementary school to stuff like this?
Yeah. And now you're being invited?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Why do you think they picked you?
They picked me.
Well, we picked you to be here, so why do you think your teachers did and Dr. Jerry?
I guess my comedic relief. I don't know.
Enjoy your comedic relief. You also have very insightful things to say, sir. Like very smart as well. Nobody wants to hear somebody who's like funny and not smart. That's not fun.
I try to keep the grades up. And I do.
Anyone? Miss Morgan, this is your last chance.
And we're good.
Thank you. All right.
I was gonna have them, I'm gonna do it one call, I was gonna have them to do the script in 30 seconds of what the one call should sound like.
Oh. All right, and online, we had a couple of people join, and they said they don't have any questions, but they want to tell you all that you did a fabulous job. They enjoyed hearing you. So we're gonna cut off. Thank you all. If you had a chance, okay, if somebody said, all right, next year you get to pick. You can come back to Bluegrass and do project-based learning again, or you can go back to a more traditional school. Let's say it was, I don't know, Betty Jane Smith or middle school, I don't know, whatever it is, would you have to think about that choice? What sort of things would
I'm
you
staying.
I already
I'm
know
staying.
exactly. I'm staying.
I have way too much
Because
to lose.
like that's
Right.
just the automatic thought in my mind. I would stay here because not only is it easier for me to learn, but it's more visual and I like interacting with other people. So I would definitely stay here without a question.